Hello, good evening. It's Tuesday and it's a little bit after 9 o'clock. I had some, I wouldn't say technical issues, but Gary's not well, so we had to bail on me at the last minute. So I have just this minute picked up somebody else. It's this woman here. Yes, it's Sav.
You can't have a night in peace. You're wandering past and get grabbed by presenters. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. Yes, so Sav's jumped in at the last minute to chat with me on the things what I was going to chat with Gary about. And if you're watching, Gary, you probably won't be watching now actually. If you are watching, I hope you feel better soon. Yes, we got some bits to talk about. Some VT. One of them was Gary's. We're still going to have Gary's VT. The final time I'm going to say this, we're going to look at the TFV4 that I've been promising you for about 4 weeks, and I keep shifting it to the next show. We are going to be looking at my little bit of ET later, yes, and now I can finally give you my whatever's on this little device. Anyway, good evening, chat. We've got Neil in there, Trevor and Keith and Martin and Wraith Tech and Aaron and Leanna and Mike B and Mark and Az and other people as well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's kick it off then with some titles. Yes, it's a good job I haven't changed them. Yes, but anyway, there you go. Here they are. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. Yes, there you go. Them's was the titles. Yeah. And it is Vaper Scene with me, Mark Green, Mark Van Basten. And tonight, Sav, the Bootylicious Sav, the bountiful whatever's, as Dave,
Whatever.
as Dave Dawn says. And great show last night, the
Oh,
Melee.
thank you.
I was chuckling to myself when I watched it back. Yes,
It was fun with the uncontrollable Mr. Dawn.
he is a force to be reckoned with. That man.
He is. He certainly is.
Yes. um, but he's not singing tonight. No, he won't be accenting what we say with a little ditty. No, he's he's thankfully not here today. But there you go. It was rather interesting, rather fun. I'm just seeing what's happening in chat there. TFV4 is hilarious, says Wraith Tech UK. Would you like to expand on that? Interesting. Anyway, we'll start off actually with a bit of news. Here we go. Now, this was in our little Skype chatty rooney earlier on from the Mail. Oh, yes. England's chief medical officer says smoking should be banned in parks and children's play areas. Dame Sally Davis said she welcomed measures to reduce active smoking. It comes as Royal Society for Public Health calls for more smoke-free zones, and the organisation wants more exclusion zones near schools and in parks. Yes. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, and on the second slide I have here, The big white area is where there was a picture, and I've taken a picture out because it's someone else's property. Um, yes, but she does say, members say in August that reducing the convenience of smoking will prompt more people to give up. Really? Stopping smokers from lighting up in prominent public places will prevent them setting a bad example for children, according to a report published by the Society. Well, you can read the rest. We've got the link somewhere. If one of our lot can put it into chat, that would be nice. I didn't put it into our other little thing, so it's not queued up to be pasted into chat, but I'm sure Ridian or Chief has got it somewhere. Yes. What did you make of that, Sav?
It's just another at them again, isn't it? And I mean, children aren't morons. Children are children. Teenagers will do what they want, and kids will just. I mean, they don't need wrapped in cotton wool. Yeah, don't sit and force them to smoke. Don't go, right, I'm having a tab, so are you. That's stupid. But this is just every single aspect of your life. Say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can do it, but you can only do it there. You can only do it there, but you can't do it there. It's ridiculous. I mean, what happens if you live next door to a school? Are you not allowed to smoke in your own garden?
That's a very good point.
It's crazy.
I mean, if they're going to say you can't smoke or vape in a public place, in a park, for instance, are they then going to ban people from eating a Kentucky Fried Chicken meal or a Burger King meal or a McDonald's meal? Other fast food products are, of course, available from various vendors, but are they going to stop the ice cream van from being in the park selling ice cream, and fizzy drinks, which is obviously bad for you because it makes you fat, doesn't it? So, are they going to say? Are they going to say you can't then eat those consumables anywhere near children or outside of school? So, I'm sure if they said no ice cream sales in the parks, and the last time I was in the park was a couple of months ago, and there was 3 or 4 ice cream vans plus the static ones, huge queues flogging their ice creams. So it's not the same, but it's similar in the way as eating too much makes you large. Yes. And obviously smoking's bad for you. But they can't ban everything from everywhere. Otherwise, you're just going to be in your house, in your 4 little, with your windows shut and your blinds shut, your curtains shut, so no one can see you smoking or vaping or eating an ice cream or whatever. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Let me go on to you, Sav, while I look down here at my laptop screen.
I couldn't agree more. It is. I mean, soon they're going to be telling you what you can have in your kitchen cupboards if you've got children, or if you have children that come and visit your home. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, most parents, I would say, are quite responsible. They take care of their children and what they do around their children. That should be enough. It's not the government's job to raise our kids. It's the parents' job. And I don't agree with us being micromanaged in everything we say, think, feel, do. It's just beyond a joke.
Yes. I'm just looking at chat there. Couple of things. Graham Gores Entwistle said, my 13-year-old stepson was sold an iStick 30-watt clone and iSub clone this summer. Was that by a vendor? Or was that from somewhere else? And it's gone off my screen. Hold on. Go back. And Raytech UK expanding on the TVF4 thing. It's very much a specialist device. The tri and quad cores need 80 watts to wake them up, although the RBA deck is excellent. Well, you'll see what I think about the RBA deck, in part 3, and then I shall give you my opinion of the quad coil in this afterwards. But I haven't been running it at 80 watts. Back to the other story. There we go. Oh, Rob's got some TI cores for the TFV4. Now, I've coiled mine with NI, and it works rather well when it does. but more about that afterwards. Yes, so I think the whole... We did this story, I don't know, 2 months ago about parks in Ireland where you couldn't do anything. You had to have your dog on a lead, and you couldn't interfere with donkeys. It's just craziness. It's craziness. I'm going to move on. Let's move on to something else. Now, you would have seen before, yesterday we were talking about the Totally Wicked campaign, the date set for the 1st of October 2015. That's going to be good, I hope. And the submission going on the 29th of September in Whitehall. So the hashtag Whitehall Whiteout. Now, unfortunately, I can't get to that because I am up in Yorkshire, and Whitehall is down in that Londinium place, and I can't get there on that particular day, which is a shame. So, if you are going to Whitehall for the hashtag Whitehall Whiteout on that day, get in touch with me. There we go. Oh, it's a bad shot, but there you go. Vaper Scene at vaportrails.tv. Send me an email. I hadn't changed that shot. Send me an email, and we'll try and hook up and get some footage from you. If you've got a camera phone or whatever, we can sort out getting some footage to me. Or you can contact us on the Facebook page or via Twitter, and we'll see what we can come up with that. And I think it should be good. Yes. What are your thoughts, Sav?
Again, it's something I can't get to, but if you can, if you're reasonably local, definitely try and go to more people that can go, the better. And if you can, white out Whitehall, that would just be awesome.
Be immense, won't it?
No,
Yeah, let's have a dual shot. There we go. We're both on screen there. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're local, semi-local, and can get time off work, go for it. Just do it.
Yes. I would love to go down, I have to say. It would be good, but I can't manage it, unfortunately. It's very close to my already booked holiday, and I've already got 18 days off or something in October. So yeah, it's not. I can't get any more. It's just not going to happen. No. What else have we got? Yes. Now, go to that shot. I posted a question on our Facebook group. Now, if you watch the show and you're not part of the Facebook group, go and have a look. Vaper Trails TV. You'll find all the links, and I'm sure somebody from the team will put the link in if you're not already a member of the group. But I posted a question, and that question was thus. There you go. Now, I asked this on juice prices. I wanted to see if you think that paying the same for 0 milligram, anything up to 24 and above, is fine, or whether you thought that vendors should scale the price dependent on the nick strength, or did you think it was a rip-off, that the price is the same for whatever. And then the final question, which is a bit similar to the other question, I think vendors should leave things as is, so that's why that's only got one particular vote. Yes. Now, Sav, I'm going to ask you the question first, before I show you, and you're on screen, before I show you the results of said poll. What are your feelings on, say, a bottle of juice? 10 mils of juice costs £5, and if it's 0 nick, it costs you £5. If it's 24 milligram nick, it costs you £5. What are your thoughts?
Personally, I don't mind that, because of everything that sort of goes into the making of juice. I prefer that my vendors were concentrating on everything being as it should be, and I'm not too fussed to pay the little extra, so it all sort of balances out at the end of the day, because sometimes I'll buy high strength, sometimes I'll buy low strength, and it doesn't make much difference to me personally.
And how about the actual cost of said juice? So say 30 mils of certain juice might cost you £25, whereas a 30 mils of another juice might only cost you £12.
Yeah, I find that I don't buy into this whole premium juice. I've bought a few premium juices over the years, and I have never found anything that's justified a price tag like that. I understand people need to make money off what they're selling, but there's a limit, and I have a limit on how much I'm willing to pay personally for 30 mils juice. And something like the prices that you see for so-called high-end juices, not gonna happen out of my pocket.
Well, let me show you what the poll said. This is my little graph, and 32 people said that paying the same is fine by them. 23 people said that vendors should scale according to the amount of nicotine in the juice. 3 people said it was a rip-off, and 1 said leave it as it is. So 54% of the poll, which was out of 59 pollers, said that paying the same is fine by them. Yes. I was just interested to find out, really, because I'm on the kind of fence. Sometimes I think it's a little bit of a rip-off, but then when you think of, it doesn't matter what strength you buy in that bracket, whether it's 0 or 24, the price remains the same, and it kind of justifies, because if you're on 3 milligram and then you may want to buy 24 milligram, it's just the same. So I'm kind of torn, but I don't think 25, 27, 30 pounds for so-called premium juice is probably worth it, especially at 3 milligram, because what you're paying for there is the cheapest thing there, which is the VG, because the premium juices are mainly really high VG, are they not so?
That's very true. Yeah, very true. And when you make your own juice, you know how cheap it can be to make. I mean, I know there's a lot of other costs involved when you're manufacturing juice on a big scale, but to compare it to, say, a £25 a bottle, where you can make your own 30 ml bottle with as many exotic flavours in as you like for pennies, and you think, I'm not forking out that much. I'd want that in a solid gold bottle for that price. Jeez.
I'm sure if Dave Dawn is watching, he'd want personal favours.
I'm sure he would.
I mean, I do mix my own, so I know how cheap I can make 30 mils of juice. But obviously, you've got to think about infrastructure and all the legalities that companies have to, comply with. So that cost has to get passed on. We know that. The premium juice side of things, I do think, is a little bit overrated and a little bit overpriced, especially if you think that the premium juice is aimed more at drippers and the cloud chasers, so it's very low nick and you go through loads of it. So it does seem to me a bit of a cash cow, and I wish it wasn't such. And I know my little poll caused a little bit of controversy at the weekend, which I actually wanted. That's the whole reason for having the poll in the first place, just to kind of get some lively debate out there. Yes. We've reached the time for some adverts. Yes. So we'll be back in 2 shakes. UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. And we're back in the room, and hello. I was just looking in chat there, and Leanna Lawless had put in there £65 for 30ml special mother's milk. I did see something a while ago, and it was extremely expensive juice, and I just can't believe that people would actually pay £65. But if they do, there you go. It's like spending huge amounts of money on a bottle of Cristal or getting 30 bottles of Cava. Each to their own, I guess, and as your budget allows. But with things tightening up all over the place, I think £65 is rather a lot. Would you pay £65 for 30 mils?
What the heck is like? Not a chance. £6.50 is more like it for me than £65. I mean, what would you get for £65?
A hell of a lot.
No way. No way.
I was just seeing Reef Cat has just put into chat. In theory, there's a 60 centime tax per mil of juice here in Portugal.
Ow.
What's that? About 45p, isn't it? So you're looking at £4.50 tax. What's the rest of the tax like in Portugal? Reef Cat, let us know. So yes, chat of are rather animated about the cost there.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
£65.
Yes. Now I did see. I've seen lots of juice this year, obviously at the events, and I'm sure we'll see lots more juice next year at the events, especially at Vape Jam, because I'll get all the overseas things coming over again. That should be good, by the way. Looking forward to that, even if it is in a bit of a difficult place to stay, really, where it is at the Excel Centre. I've looked at hotels already. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll be there, though. Yeah, we'll be there, won't we, Sav? You coming to that?
I'd love to this
You're
year.
going to make the journey.
Yes, I'd love to.
Yes, we might have to all pile into somebody's camper van. Yes, Sherry's camper van.
Yeah.
She can make us all bacon butties in the morning.
Sounds like a plan.
Right, let's have Gary's video. And Gary has got a new toy. He mentioned it last week, and what it is, it's a kind of a vacuum chamber, and it's for impregnating wood. Yes, he's good at impregnations, apparently, and it's impregnating wood, so we can then use it for different stuff. It's called Vacuum Pot. Yes, let's have a little look.
We are back in the room for another week, and I should be this week starting to shape my big chunk of oak worky toppy thing into a vaping stand for building atties and stuff, which is what we promised last week. But best laid plans and all that, they all go to yes. Not happy bunny. The parts are coming, but in setting up the bandsaw, and in the interest of being safe and wanting to keep all of these, you can see I've still got them all now. This thing, which is the attaches to the bandsaw, and this is the fence, and it has a rotating do 3 watts it and all that sort of stuff. Well, the lock off mechanism, I said lock off mechanism, which is in here, should have a handle attached, but that must have got damaged in shipping, and when I tried to set it up and tighten it up, the thing disintegrated. Now, in order to do some of the cuts on this, I need that locked down tight. Doesn't work if it's broken. The company are sending me out a replacement. I might well try and hand make something that takes its place. But as for cutting, I ain't doing the cuts I need to do without this thing being secure. It's not safe. That, as I said last week, that tool is a serious tool, and it's one that I am worried about. This morning I went and picked up something I'm going to show you in a minute, and it's good. It's good. Let me show you some wood. Let me slap my wood on the table. I'm just going to slap my wood down right here so you can all see it. Now, this stuff here, I'm going to zoom down. This stuff is basically stabilised wood, and this wood has been impregnated, not by me personally, but it has been, and basically it goes through a vacuum chamber, and it impregnates the wood with something called cactus juice. It's like an acrylic. It's a heat treated acrylic. Now, it's something I wanted to do for a long time, because I use this stabilised wood for lots of things, and there are many mods made of stabilised wood, and these are prepared pen blanks in the same stabilised wood. You can also do some weird things, like corn on the cob, and you can make stuff with corn on the cob, and this has all been stabilised and vacuum treated. So what does it do? And I'm going to show you a little bit in a minute, and I'm going to show you the thing I won. I got on eBay actually, and it's something I've wanted for a long time. Take for example, we have this chunk here of spalted beech, this one there, and we've got another chunk here that's sort of going to be good, and I've got something here which is called zebrano wood. Basically, when I put it in the pot, effectively what the pot does, you cut this roughly to shape, and you can add, you've probably seen quite a lot of the high-end mods now are made with stabilised wood, and you can dye it, you can do all that sort of stuff. I'm going to show you going forwards, and this is why I bought this piece of equipment, how we do that. But effectively, you submerge stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get my big one on the table, and I'll come back in 2. Apologies that this is like 1 week back, and I've had a cock up already. But that's how it happens. You can't sort of allow for it. It's you're making something out of stuff, and you rely on so many other people to get stuff to you. But I'm gonna slap me big one on the bench, and we'll come back into. This is massive. Trust me. If you're not impressed with this, and when I must say, when I was searching for a vacuum chamber, the amount of, I can't say it, can I? The amount of pumps, yeah, I can say it in a different sort of way. I come across lots of different pumps for enlarging certain parts of male bodies, which is not what I wanted. So if you're Trace, my wife, if you're watching this and you do look at our internet browser search, I won't worried, trust me. Back into. Right, so we are back in the room, and you may think you're looking at some sort of weird milking device. I can assure you it's not. These are indeed 12 volt vacuum pumps, and it's not the ideal way to do this, but these little things get this down to a stupidly low pressure. I'm going to get a big pump. That's on order, a big pump. You may be asking, what the hell is this got to do with modding? This is effectively the starts of many high-end box mods, and this is where this kit sort of comes into play. Effectively, this is a vacuum chamber, and there are two ways of doing things. A vacuum chamber, effectively, you would put your, I'm just going to show how big this thing is, because it's absolutely massive. That is that lump of wood we looked at, and it just swallows it. And I wanted to get a big one. If you're going to get one, get a big one. Effectively, this has a doofy, what's it, clocky thing on there. It's got valves and stuff on it. And effectively what you do is stabilised wood mods. You may have seen them. They come in natural woods, they come in different colours, they come in all that. How do you do that is one of the things that I want to explore as well going forwards, which is why one has purchased this. Effectively, what you would do is you would and in here you don't have to have the whole thing filled up, but it's nice to have a big one so you can play with it more. But this is some like nice wood. This is redwood I've got sent from Roscoe, you know, end bits from making his stands. Now once I put that in here in a vat of the cactus juice, which is a really thin, basically a liquid acrylic that needs is heat cured effectively, so you have to bake it in the oven. What you do is you put your wood in, it's in the acrylic, and you take literally all the air out of this pot, and what that does, that pulls all of the air out of the wood. So basically once that's submerged in liquid, and I will film this and I will show you, once that's submerged in liquid, basically all the air comes out, and you build up your pressure on taking the air out, and then you leave it there for a little while, and it's like a sponge. So when you release the airflow back into the wood, it soaks all of the acrylic back into, it's like like a sponge, it takes it all in, and then you bake that off, and you have stabilised wood. Stabilised wood is effectively wood that has been impregnated, I say that lightly, with acrylic, and it finishes like an acrylic, and it's easier to polish, it just makes the whole thing more solid. What you can do with that as well is then start injecting colour. So you can inject colour, you can inject dyes, you can inject all that sort of stuff, and literally it soaks it into the wood grain. Now the top that has to go on this, because this goes down to stupid pressures, is a massive great chunk of acrylic which sits on the top there, and it vacuums the whole thing down, and it's bloody heavy and sucks. Yeah, we will come to this. We've been plotting and planning. I'm sorry we haven't been able to do the wood cutting and that today, but I've got lots of new stuff coming that we aim to do lots of stuff with. Now I aim to get lots of other modders involved, so me making, if you like, a raw product and then passing that on to someone else to make something with and showing you the results. That's where we're going, I hope. So another piece of kit in the workshop, sanders and stuff still coming. So I keep telling my wife I'm going to need an extension, and there's no way am I using this to get it. Right, I shall hand you back to Marco in the studio. Apologies for no stand updates this week, but next week we should be in full swing when I get me replacement parts for the bandsaw. Back into it.
Do you know, that Gary Dibley is the master of the double entendre. And watching chat as that was playing out, you are all seriously mental people, I have to say. We've got the best chat in the world, but you are all seriously mental. And that word that you typed in, Leanna Lawless, shame on you. How did that get past our swear filter, which needs to be updated to include that as well as flange, which it already does? Sav, what did you think about that?
I mean, that's a real skill that Gary's got. That's all you can say.
Someone's taken it off the filter. I've just noticed it in chat.
That might have been me. It's only because I got the blame for adding it and I had to prove that it wasn't me that did it. I'll put it back later.
Oh, dearie me.
I don't
Yes,
know.
you were saying.
I'm just amazed at the skills of Mr. Dibney. It really takes skill to be able to do what he does with those. I mean, I'm not going to encourage chat, but the vacuum thing, that looks awful clever.
Yes. I was just mentioning to Sav there, as that was playing out, if you got some nice melted chocolate in a little mould and shoved it in the old vacuum chamber, turned down the pressure, turn up the pressure, which obviously reaches down, it'll bubble up like a bar that sounds like somebody talking very quietly. Yes.
That would be lush.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, I could play around with that. It might make a mess.
So we're going to have to arrange a visit to Gary and take over his shed and make chocolate.
Yes, air-related chocolate bars.
Yep.
Yes. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it, really?
It does.
Yes. Let's have some more ads. And when we come back, we're going to have this bit of ET on the old VF4 Smok tank that's been hanging around in my show folders for weeks. It's about time we got it out there. So we will see you in 2. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapers, Dripper just got 40% bigger. So if you love discovering new e-liquids, tell Dripper what flavours you like and we'll send you 70ml of juice and at least 5 flavours. With a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe, dripper.co.uk.
What's in this e-cig cloud? Harmless water vapour, right? Pretty much, yes. Compared to a lit cigarette, it's much safer than smoke. But it contains nicotine, and nicotine on its own isn't toxic and doesn't cause cancer. If you're worried about switching to vapour, here are some facts. No tar, no smoke, no burnt tobacco. Cooking your evening meal produces more toxins than are found in exhaled vapour. Tobacco smoke contains toxins at very high levels, and vapour does not. And that vapour contains 6,000 times less carcinogens than cigarette smoke. Electronic cigarette vapour. There's nothing to be frightened of. The only dangerous electronic cigarette is a banned one.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. And we're back. And during that advert break, Sav and I were discussing flanges. And what is it you said, Sav?
Oh, I forgot what was it. I'm not touching nobody's flange. Yes, that's what I said. I get accused of touching all sorts, and I didn't do it, and I'm not going to. Innocent hands where you can see. All times.
Yes, that did make us chuckle. Made
It
my eyes
did.
water slightly as well. It was good stuff. Yes, We Put Up has asked who are the other people who aren't logged in to chat. If you do watch the show live, do come along and log into the chat and say hello, and you can ask questions or post silly comments like the rest of them do. They're all a friendly bunch, with the exception of none.
Yeah. It's a couple you need to watch, but
Couple you need to watch, yeah, like Whip It Up 69. He's
yeah,
dreadful.
he is
And he
terrible.
says we've scared 3 off. Maybe they're ants. Maybe it's PHE. Maybe it's Glance. Maybe it's his crew.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's the people who want us to stop doing what we're doing because we're scaring children and we're encouraging them to vape and to smoke and to eat burgers and all that kind of stuff because we're eating things in parks and sitting on a park bench having a vape.
I know.
Yeah.
If
Now,
it is them, I'd love them to sign in and just tell us what they think.
yes, it would be good, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it just?
Yes. Open invitation. Yes. If you are one of those people who watch our output for whatever reasons you have that aren't vape related, why don't you actually come and talk to us? You know, we're no different than any other people. We just like a vape. Yes. Anyway, and Trevor G says, "Who us silly comments? Really? Yes, really." Dear. Yes, Big Brothers are watching Paul Robinson 804. But do we care? No, not really, because we like what we're doing. Yes. Anyway, let's get to this bit of VT. And you remember weeks and weeks ago, I showed you the Smok TFV4 that I picked up at Vape Fest with the triple coil atomizer on it. I've currently got the quad coil in here. I've had it in here for about 3 weeks and it's still going strong. It's changed the resistance slightly as it's got older, but it's still vaping rather nicely. But on this little bit of VT, I show you the rebuildable, and I kind of cock it up a bit, to use a Garry Dibleyism, but I left it as it was. So have a little look, and we will see you on the flip side. Yes. Now, you may remember on last week's show I showed you this, which is the Smok TFV4 tank that I picked up at Vape Fest. And you remember that I wasn't all that impressed with the triple coil that I put in it, because it comes with the triple coil, the quad coil, and an RBA unit. And what I said I'd do was try the quad coil or the RBA. And this week I'm going to look at the RBA. Yes. So I've cleaned everything and I have it here. As you can see, all the bits are cleaned and ready to go. Let me zoom in very slightly for you and I'll show you what we've got. So we've got the base unit that it fits into, we've got the RBA deck, we've then got the top section, then the Pyrex tank, then the top section, and then finally the drip tip. And what I have is a coil that I've already built, which is this. This is made from Ni200, 6 wraps at 0.32. Should give me something around about 0.15, I think. We shall see. And the deck on this, I mentioned last week that I wasn't quite convinced what that was made out of, because it looks very similar to the initial sub-tank insulator, which was replaced. So we shall see there. But the way it's configured is very much like the Limo 2, where the coil goes on thus, and then the legs kind of dog leg either side and into the unit. So I'm going to coil this up now, and then we'll come back. I don't think you really need to see me coiling it, do you? And here we are. There you go. All coiled up with Ni200 nice little gap there for the airflow, and it just needs to be wicked up. And what I'm going to be using is some of this, which is my favourite at the moment, rayon. I've cut it quite long, and I've been told to make sure you get a decent length on it, and make sure you get a decent bit of wick in there to stop leaks or to prevent leaks. So we shall see. I'll just get it through the coil, hopefully without distorting it, although this is slightly thicker wire, so it should be okay. I'm spinning it through as I go, and I think that's probably enough. There we go. So wicked up. It's not going to stay that long, obviously, and I want it to be in that channel and cut just below. So we'll do one side then the other. Yeah, and then this side, I'll just fold that over. Cut on the fold, he says. And that should be that, he says. Yeah, take a little bit more off that side. The little bits, by the way, I keep hold of those because they can very easily be made into a little filler for anything like a sub-tank RBA. Once I've put the wick in, I generally just fill very slightly. So there you go, wick into the channels. And I'm just going to offer that up to the top section, like so. And we'll just screw that in. And there we go. You can see that the wick is just at the bottom of there. And that should, hopefully, sort us out. I'm going to screw it into the base now, which is on the Sigelli. And that's just hand tight. What you need to do on the Sigelli when you're in temperature control is to press the plus and minus button together to lock the resistance. So I'll just do that, and it's telling me the resistance is 0.074, so 007. Yeah, I've just given it a quick pulse. I don't want it to burn the wick. So what I'm going to do is put some juice on that. Get that bit out of the way. And what I have is some juice I got from Callum at Healthy Vape, and it's called Callahan Cream. Yeah, it is a 90 VG 10 PG mix, and it's a 3 mg juice. There you go, it wasn't in shot. 90 VG 10 PG 3 mg, and it smells creamy. So what I've got is I've got some in my little syringe, and I'm just going to put some just on the wick, just a little bit, just to get it started. There we go. And then we're going to put it together. So Pyrex tank goes on. I have to say, when you take this apart, this tank, let me zoom out as well. When you take this apart, it does tend to actually come completely apart. The kind of top section doesn't come off, it kind of comes off at the bottom section, which is a bit weird, but it's something that you can live with if it's just for taking it apart to clean, etc., or to rebuild. And actually I'm going to take it off here while I do this, because it's not exactly going on perfectly, and I don't want to keep firing it if I'm putting it together. Yeah, the way it fits together is it's not the best, I have to say. There we go. Right, we are now screwed on, nice and secure. that's in there. I'm going to shut the airflow because I'm going to fill it up very shortly. Before I put any more juice in there, I just want to test the resistance, make sure it still is telling me, yeah, and I can hear it firing. So let's fill it up, slide that down and squeeze in from the top there. There's about 2 mils in there. I'm just going to give it a bit more. Might as well give it a fighting chance and fill up the tank. There we go. Right, that's about as full as I need it right now. Let's put the top back on this. So I'm just going to let this soak in for a little while. I'm going to close the top and open the airflow. Put the drip tip back on, like so, and just give it a couple of minutes to do its thing. Really, I don't want to go too quick at it. I want it to soak through and be nice. It doesn't appear to be leaking, which is some of the issues that have been apparent with the RBA side of things. So now it's just a case of seeing what happens. Yeah, a few little bubbles, mainly because I'm tipping it from side to side. That's probably long enough. So we'll give it a blast. This is at I'll set it to 25 joules, and that's at 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's telling me, you probably can't see actually, it's telling me still that it's 007 on a resistance. So let's give this a blast and see what happens. Well, it's producing, but it needs more power than 25 joules. I thought I'd start it off small, start it off low and then build up. So now we're at 30. Still not meant, so we'll take it up again to 35. Okay, what I'm getting here, let me zoom in for you. What I'm getting is this. There we go. It's saying dry coil, no liquid. And I believe I've cut the tails a little bit too long. So I'm going to change that. So bear with me. Now, I've just made a minor change to the wicking. I'd actually got too much wick showing at the bottom. That shouldn't go all the way as far as I did it. So I've taken a little snip off. So now there's a gap. And what's happening now is that the juice is getting up that channel. What I had done was put too much wicking and it was drying up. It wasn't burning, but it wasn't getting the juice. Still no leaks, so it's a lot better. And you can see how much better it is. Now then, I could have edited that out. Obviously this video's been edited anyway, but I could have edited out my little mistake there. But I'm of the opinion that if we make a mistake, it's important that we show you as well, so you don't make the same mistake. So don't cut the wick as long as I did. Leave that second channel, that other channel, clear, and then it will vape quite nicely. Flavour wise, plenty of flavour coming through there. It's also not hot at all. I'm touching this, it's not hot at all, and that's because I've got it on temperature control, and that is the beauty. So for me, this is working much better under temperature control than under power mode on the triple coil, and it's also not as hot. And you can see plumes of vapour from the RBA. So far, given the fact that I've now sorted out how it should be built, I like it. So I shall keep using it, and I shall give you some more details on the flip side. But now, it's back to the studio. And there we go. Yes. Ooh, I've turned myself up a little bit there. I'll turn it down again. There we go. Yes. I've still been having some kind of mixed results from the RBA build. Coiling it is fine. Coiling it's a piece of piddle. But getting the wick exactly right so it wicks properly escapes me. I do it once, it's fine. If I re-wick it a tiny little bit too long, and it starts just not wicking properly. And I was given the advice when I bought it to make sure there's a nice good long wick, which is why I wicked it as I did the first time. But there you go. If you get it right, it really vapes well. If you get it wrong, it just doesn't wick. So it's a bit of trial and error till you get it exactly right. And I think what I'm going to start doing is measuring how much wick I use, and then if it works properly, I know exactly what I've got to do then. I'll just cut a cocktail stick or something to the right length, and then I'll get it right every time. Anyway, the quad coil vapes really well. And I'm not going to blow a huge plume because I'll disappear, as you know, with the old green screen. Big plumes of vapour makes me disappear. But the quad coil I've had in for about 3 weeks. It's working really well. Flavour's quite good, better than the triple coil, in my opinion. It does get rather hot because it's not temperature controlled. It is fairly warm because I've been vaping on it during that bit of VT. But I'm going to keep using the rebuildable. I'm going to wick it up again when I've finished this tank off, and get back onto that again. But it is a good little tank. I do rather like it. And you were thinking of getting one, weren't you, Sav? But you decided to get something else.
I did. I looked at that and it put me off a little bit with, this is going to sound weird, but with the amount of choice on the coils, because I thought, I don't know what any, because the mods I've got, I don't have anything temperature controlled or anything, and they only go up to 50 watts. So I'm like, would that be enough? Would it not? And at the finish, I've got the Triton and the Sino Beast instead. But it's definitely still on my list of tanks to take into consideration because it does look good.
Yeah, the actual filling, that's what I really love, because you just flip the top, put your juice in, flip it back, you're done. And that is clever. What I like about it.
Yeah,
I must say, that. I really do. Next week, I've got this to look at. Just going out of shop there. I've got a competition Doge V2, which is a dripper. I'll look at that next week, and hopefully Garry will be feeling better. We'll have some more VT from Garry. But tomorrow night it is Matt. He's back with the Ridian for the cave, and then Thursday you've got Mr. David Dawn with probably Keith for the Haze Hour, and Monday onwards, you know the score. Don't forget, of course, you've got RY4 Radio you can listen to. Link will be going into chat very soon. So it leaves me to say thank you to Sav. There you go, Sav.
You're very welcome. It has been a pleasure to be on your show.
Always a pleasure, never a chore, having Sav on the show. Thank you to chat for tuning in, and if you're watching on catch up, there'll be two versions. There's this version, which is the live 360 version, and then I'll be uploading a 720p version as well, just so you've got some HD. Yes, and this was brought to you tonight on a combination of broadband and 4G. Yes, so I'll see you next week, or you'll see me next week. Tatty bye. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.